Could PSG Neymar stop the Russian Revolution in 1917? To find the answer, we have to look at how good was PSG Neymar, what was the Russian Revolution, and could Neymar prevent it? Firstly, how good was Neymar at PSG? While Neymar won more awards during his time at Barcelona, such as a Champions League, 2 La Liga titles, or 3 Copa del Reys, he was much more personally dominant at PSG from 2017 to 2023. He had more goal contributions in less games, as he scored 118 goals and had 79 assists in only 173 games, compared to 105 goals and 80 assists in 186 games at Barcelona. He was not only statistically brilliant, as at PSG he had full freedom and he was the #1 option. Therefore, he was just controlling the field and absolutely violating defenders. If you don't believe me, look at Neymar's performance in the 2021 Copa America final. Stats don't describe this game, it's an eye test. This is one of those performances that you actually absolutely have to watch. And during this era, this was not rare for Neymar. He was just purely the most important player on the field at all time. More games, such as his 4-goal performance against Dijon in League 1 during the 2018 season, or his clutch 2020 Champions League semi-final game against RB Leipzig, just proved that although Barcelona Neymar is arguably more iconic, healthy PSG Neymar can be considered the most talented player of all time. Now, what was the Russian Revolution? The Russian Revolution was a major political and social event in 1917 that ended the Russian monarchy and led to the creation of the world's first communist state. It wasn't just one single event though, it was actually 2 revolutions in the same year. First, there was the February Revolution in March 1917. Mass protests and strikes began in Petrograd, soldiers refused to fire on the civilians, and the Tsar was eventually forced to step down, which was the end of the Romanov dynasty. The result? The monarchy collapsed. Then there was the October Revolution, which for some reason was on November 1917. It was led by the Bolsheviks, a communist group led by Vladimir Lenin. The Bolsheviks seized key government buildings and they overthrew the provincial government. They promised peace, land, and bread, and the result was communists taking power. This all happened due to an absolute disaster after World War I. There were huge military losses, food shortages, and an economic collapse. There was also very weak leadership, as Tsar Nicholas II was widely seen as ineffective. There was also poverty and inequality, as peasants and workers suffered extreme hardship and wealth was just concentrated among the elites. Now, lastly and most importantly, how could Neymar prevent this? The main cause of the revolution was civilian anger. Neymar would be able to give the citizens something else to rally behind, and he could serve as a national symbol. We see this all the time in sports. For example, when football player Jesse Lingard went to Korea, he became a national symbol there. Now that's just Jesse Lingard. Imagine if a prime Neymar went to a struggling country like Russia at the time. He would be a hero. And as a new national treasure, Neymar could create more gambling, charity matches, and all sorts of things like merch to create an entirely new cash flow in the country. This would help solve the famine, but how would Neymar address one of the biggest problems, the financial struggle for civilians? Well, the arrival of Neymar would open up hundreds of more jobs, and the factory conditions would be forced to improve as there would now be a massive spotlight on the country. The reality is, this would make or break the result. However, if Neymar properly influences the economy through his arrival, serves as a national symbol of unity, and makes the right decisions with what he does, for example, making sure the factory conditions are right, then yes, Neymar could prevent the Russian Revolution in 1917.